Hey everyone, I need to make something really clear. My name is Sarah Fields. I've been involved in investigative journalism for about 4 years now. One thing that a lot of people, maybe if you're just now hearing about me or you're not familiar with my journalism, I am a Republican, now kind of moving more towards the center because I'm sickened by both sides, but I'll get to that in a minute. I am a Republican. I am a local elected official here where I live. And again, I've been involved in investigative journalism for a long time. But what a lot of people don't know about me is that I have had no issue with calling out both sides of the aisle. If you are wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. Why? Because I was taught accountability. I was taught about individual responsibility. Now, I was the first journalist to call out Dominique Alexander, the advocating for Carmelo Anthony's family, who runs a fraudulent organization who has a criminal record a mile long. I was the first to call him out on X. It got millions of views. I was one of the first journalists to release the arrest report, yada yada. It goes on. This is what prompted Dominique Alexander to target me specifically at his press conference. And my entire family has had to be on lockdown ever since because of the threats being made on me and my family and my home. But I feel the need to explain something to all of you because it would seem that some of you just are not understanding where I stand on things. Not one time. Let me explain to you this massive issue we have in our country right now. I am a military veteran, by the way. I fought for this country, so keep that in mind. Not one time when I released the arrest report, when I released the criminal past of Dominique Alexander, when I talked about his offenses, his convictions, when I talked about his fraudulent organization, not one time did I bring up race or the color of his skin. Yet, because I reported on it and because a lot of people on the side that defends Carmelo Anthony got angry at me for releasing information that looked negative on Carmelo Anthony and his advocate and his organization, Next Generation Action Network, I was called a racist and a bigot and every single name under the sun that you can think of, even though I not once brought up color. Flip that around. I'm being attacked by that side. I'm getting threats on my life, on my children, on my home. I can't go anywhere. I can only go to church and required meetings. That's it. I can't go anywhere. I have had to bring in security. I've had to have security at my church. But flip that around. Then Jake Lang and several other people start a protest called Protect White Americans or whatever. And it's race baiting. That's what it is. I spoke out against him and said, stop making this about race. It's about individual responsibility of a person's actions. We need to start making people be accountable for their personal decisions. And then when I said that, I put out a post condemning what Jake Lang was doing and people who call themselves conservatives. Then conservatives came after me and said that I was, I'm not even going to tell you some of the names I got called because it's disgusting. But I did get called a traitor. I got called someone who betrays her own country, who betrays her race. What does that even mean? When people are getting angry at me and they keep saying, Sarah, this is about race. What is wrong with you? Just say it. Just admit it. No. And apparently I need to put it into a video to explain to all of you because I've tried to type this and write this and no one seems to understand my point. So I guess making a video is what I need to do. If you are truly an American and you believe in the United States Constitution We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This was written because of race wars. I swear this has been going on for way too long. What happened because one person made a poor decision. You have zero proof. You do not know if it was because of race. All that happened is one person made a horrible decision to take another person's life. And then Jake Lang stood on the phone with the father of the son who was unalived and blamed him and said that he had white guilt because he refused to make it about race.
I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and some gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing.
I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this.
That is disgusting. If we truly believe in individual liberty in this country, then you have to believe in individual accountability for people's actions. Race doesn't play into it. And until people start to see things that way, this is not going to end. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And according to the Bible, in the end days, good is going to be called evil and evil is going to be called good. And guess what? Now people are trying to say that what Carmelo Anthony did is good, and they're using race to do it. That is evil. And it needs to be called out. And people need to be held responsible for their own personal decisions. So when I say this isn't about race, I'm not saying that race is not being brought into it, because it is. Because of you people. Because of the race baiters on both sides. We do not know if this happened because of race. It just so happens that it was a black kid who unalived a white kid. That's heartbreaking. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It's sad when it's black on black, when it's white on white, when it's white on black, when it's black on white. I don't care. Hold the person individually responsible for what they did and stop making it about race. Morgan Freeman said it perfectly. How do we end the racist issue? How do we end the race wars and the race baiting? How do we end racism? Stop talking about it. Stop. You're destroying this country and what it was built on. I will not take sides. I will hold people accountable for their personal decisions. You can call me whatever name you want. I don't care. I don't care if you call me a traitor. I don't care if you call me whatever it is you want to call me. I'm not changing my mind. Sin is sin. I know upstanding people of all colors. This is a heart issue. This is an environment issue. I also know horrible people of all colors. Start holding them accountable individually, or this is never going to end. Hope that clears some things up.
Unbelievable. Mr. Dominique Alexander, who in the hell you trying to represent? You are a criminal. You got 10 felonies. Grand auto theft, high-speed chase, burglary, assault, and you like to beat on black women and black babies. You got 10 felonies. Why you're not in jail? Why? But I'm always hearing white privilege. That sounds like black privilege to me. I know kids that just threw a rock and they went to jail. You got 10 felonies. And you on TV trying to be a race hustler? Stop trying to start shit. Your ass really need to be in jail. And you part of Black Lives Matter, but you beating the hell out of black women and black babies. Boy, go ahead. Go ahead.
Update. Dominique Alexander, advocate who's running a fraudulent organization for the Carmelo family, has threatened to sue me. Let me show you. Addressing the lies and disrespect. Normally, I don't waste time responding to outlandish stupidity on social media. I'm the only one that you've responded to and targeted in your press conference. It's because I exposed you, but let's continue. But a recent post by Sarah Fields has crossed a line that demands a response. In her distasteful, you want to talk about distasteful, sir? And misleading post, Sarah Fields accused me of having an inappropriate relationship with former Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall. The accusation was not only disrespectful to me, how dare I disrespect you, woman abuser and baby shaker. It is an outright offense to Chief Hall, a highly accomplished law enforcement professional who has moved forward in her career and continues to make an impact. Sir, I'm not the one who accused you. Multiple staffers and police officers, 4 or 5 of them, I believe, are the ones who accused you. I just put it out in the open. Let's read my post from today, shall we? First of all, I did go ahead and make it clear. Please try, because discovery will be lit. So let's read what I put out about you, Dominique, because you didn't deny anything. You just said it was disrespectful. As if your rap sheet and the findings of your organization being fraudulent wasn't enough, according to multiple sources within the PD, he had an affair with former police chief Renee Hall. During the George Floyd protest, also known as the Summer of Love, the Dallas PD appointed their new chief of police, Chief Renee Hall. She was the first woman and one of the first African-American women to hold that position. Prior to Dallas, she was deputy chief of the Detroit Police Department. You may ask how she was appointed. Dallas City Manager T.C. Broadnax quietly hired a panel to appoint the new police chief, and one of those on the panel was none other than Dominique Alexander. Does someone want to tell me why a convicted felon and someone who hates law enforcement as much as Alexander does was placed on a panel of 56 people from various neighborhoods to pick the next police chief in Dallas? The Dallas Police Association wasn't even cool about it. They said they were against it and came after NGAN, which is his fraudulent organization, because they planned the protest march in downtown Dallas just 1 year prior, which ended in 5 officers losing their lives. While Chief Renee Hall was in her position, she regularly met with Dominique Alexander regarding protests and other matters. And not only was he on the panel, but she also frequently positioned him prominently in an advisory role in public spaces. This is also while he was in a relationship still with his girlfriend that he harmed. And he would use his affiliation with Chief Renee Hall and DA John Creuzot to intimidate her. Told her that no one would believe her because he was friends with them. Sounds like a narcissist to me. And according to multiple sources within the PD at the time, Dominique Alexander was allegedly having an affair with Chief Renee Hall. Once those allegations became public, confirmed by 4 separate police and civilian sources at Dallas Police, Hall left office within 24 hours after serving 3 years. I then went on to ask questions. Why is Dominique Alexander so involved with elected officials and the PD and the city and all of this? Why, after he is a felon, he has a rap sheet a mile long? And then I went on to share a meme that a lot of people would share during the 2020 time period. And then I went on to share a couple of videos where Dominique Alexander was protesting and taunting the Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson at his home. He did this while being allowed to critique the Dallas Police Department. Let's see the videos. All night. So anyways, sorry, pregnant woman's got to eat. Sue me. Please do. In my post, I shared receipts I shared sources. I shared articles where everything came from. I do my research. You are so angry because I had the story about your rap sheet, about your fraudulent organization, well in advance before mainstream media picked it up. And then they picked it up and it spread like wildfire. And you are so angry at me that you targeted me in your press conference last week. My whole family has had to be put on lockdown. I can't go anywhere unless it's to church or executive meetings for precinct chairs because I'm a precinct chair. And I'm being targeted by BLM and Antifa because of you. You knew exactly what you were doing. All because you're so angry that receipts were shared, evidence was found, truth was spoken. So please, Dominique Alexander, sue me because Discovery is going to be lit. Here's the rest of his post in case you haven't seen it. This is your warning. Disagree with me all you want. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just pointing out your past. Challenge my ideas all you want. Really? What ideas? But do not attack people who have nothing to do with this case. I didn't attack anyone. I shared your past and you have everything to do with this case because you involved yourself. Stop before you find yourself being sued. I am unbothered.
I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and some gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing.
Hey, it's Sarah Fields, your favorite investigative journalist. Yeah. So I would hope that some of you would already know who Dominique Alexander is. If you don't, this is him. This is during the press conference he held. He's the advocate for the Karmelo family. During this press conference, he actually targeted me, called me out by name because of all the exclusive reporting that I have done on this little man. Yeah, I damaged his ego big time. Why? Because he has a crazy criminal past that I revealed. But my exclusive on him was about his fraudulent organization called Next Generation Action Network. And today, he is especially mad at me again, because yet again, I have discovered things about his organization. So while Dominique Alexander refuses to release financial reports and has not filed a single financial statement through the IRS since 2020, other left-wing organizations have filed 990s or financial statements through the IRS in the past 5 years that shows funding that goes towards Next Generation Action Network. Let's take a look and see. He has received money from not one, not two, but 3 George Soros-funded organizations. The Tides Foundation, BVM Capacity Building Institute, and Resist Incorporated. Meanwhile, Next Generation Action Network has not filed a single report since 2020. Now, as of 2020, he's brought in quite a bit. 172. These are expenses. This is revenue. But nothing since then. And this is a violation of federal law. The Tides Foundation gave Next Generation Action Network $25,000. This is according to their 990 in 2023. This was a couple of years ago. BVM Capacity, $7,500, which, by the way, these guys have received over $12 million in grants from George Soros. Resist, they received $7,000. They have also received insane funding from George Soros. Now, some of you may want to know who's George Soros. Maybe you are not completely aware of the globalist agenda and who George Soros funds and who he is. For the sake of not getting my video taken down, here's just a few things about George Soros. You can pause to read. And pause to read more about George Soros. Now, what I highly suggest doing is going to my X account. Sarah is censored because I share this full report on my go to my highlights tab. That's where you're going to find everything about Dominique Alexander and all of my investigations regarding the Carmelo Anthony family and Dominique Alexander and his organization, Next Generation Action Network. Because if you go look at that report, there's a part in there that also gets into the Give, Send, Go, where there are some weird donations going on with the Give, Send, Go. Repeated patterns, repeated statements that looks like they're coming from the same person, all close in time to, it's just weird. Go read it. Dominique Alexander did respond. It's pretty funny.
I'm so glad that we are living in your head rent-free, sir. Pretty sure I'm living rent-free in your head. Have you filed any 990s lately? This is my challenge to you, sir. This is my challenge. My challenge is for you to simply file your statements. Release all of your funding. Tell us about what you do with your funds. Tell us why all the attorneys that are being supplied to Carmelo Anthony have to do with your organization. Tell us where the money is coming from for your security, for the security that you've provided for Carmelo Anthony. What did you promise the Anthony family? What did you promise you would do for them? Considering your past, your fraudulent organization, your inclination to harm children, because that was one of your that's what one of your crimes was harming a 2-year-old baby, you would think that they would try to be far away from you as perfect as they possibly can be. But they haven't. What have you promised them? Release your statement, sir. But instead, this morning you had to do this. Mega? Lol. Remember when you held up an actual threat towards me in your press conference? You printed it off from my social media. It was a weird thing for you to do. But you had to write yours on paper?
I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online that people say there was this fight and they don't know, they weren't there.
If someone wants to say race is not in this situation and shouldn't be, well, I asked all of those people to join me in calling it out. But don't look at black people and say, don't always play the race card. We don't play the race card, we live it. We know that when people see a white and a black man in an unfortunate situation happen, that race always become a factor in that situation. We saw on Facebook and so many different things of the false lavish life of this family. $800,000 home, purchase Escalade in private security.
See, he's looking for any opportunity. And this is why I tell y'all, do not give these people an opportunity. I told you that in last video. I literally said, be careful. Or maybe I didn't say it just like that. But I said, don't let these people get your blood pressure up. Don't let them get you riled up. This is exactly why I said it. Because they're going to take any little thing and make it into something because they don't have a case. They don't have a defense. If you're for America and you love this country, please listen to me. Do not fuel these people's fire. Do not give them ammunition to use against Austin Metcalf's family in this case. Don't do that. We want justice for Austin Metcalf. Do not get in the way of Austin Metcalf getting justice. We want to see Carmelo Anthony do time in prison. I want to see him do time in prison for his actions because he unalived an innocent young man who had the rest of his life ahead of him. I want to see that. So please do not fuel Dominique Alexander's fire, because what he's trying to do is create a whole nother George Floyd protest, but he wants to make it even worse.
Okay, y'all, so Carmelo Anthony's arraignment date is scheduled for July 18th, 2025. According to multiple sources, including some of my own, the trial date will likely not be set until 2026. So now that the indictment has been put into place, the case has been assigned to 296 District Court under Judge John Roach. Roach does have the authority to overturn the magistrate's decision to reduce Anthony's bond from $1 million to $250,000. Judge Roach is a conservative Republican, and he handled the case of Azizi Urand. I think that's how you say it. He is a former Plano West high school student. He plotted a mass pew-pewing at Frisco's Stonebriar Center and multiple other locations. And he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. This judge has also shown zero leniency to people who offend children. And in one case, he sentenced a child you-know-what offender, a P3PO offender, to life in prison with no parole. He has also shown a very strong support for the veteran community. His term ends in December of 2026. So 2026, the year that Carmelo Anthony's trial is going to be held, is an election year for him. So we need to pray for this man, and we need to back this man. We need to pray protection over this man 100%. And for those who are asking if I'm going to be covering the trial, absolutely. If I'm going to be attending, I'm definitely going to try. I don't live far from Frisco. And by that time, my baby will be around a year old. So I'll be able to, I won't have a newborn to take care of. So it'll be a little bit easier for me to travel. So hopefully, yes, I will be covering this trial and attending it when I can.
Dominique Alexander did it yesterday at that press conference. He made comparisons to, for example, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, that has to be the most asinine thing that you can even try to express. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked. He was chased down, cornered. A guy tried to take his weapon. He shot him. Another person tried to use a deadly weapon against him, which was a skateboard at the time. He ended up shooting him, and another person pulled a gun on him. And what else could he have done but protect himself lawfully in a place that he belonged? This is a very different situation. You have a young man who brought a knife to a track meet, which is already illegal, bringing a knife on the premise of a sporting event. And then you have the person, obviously, with the evidence that we have so far, is premeditating a stabbing because he has his hand in his bag and he's telling them, touch me and see what happens. You only need a split second to develop premeditation. So if you have a plan that you're going to use a weapon against somebody, before you use the weapon, that's premeditation. And not utilizing equal force against a person is another uphill battle for him. Someone pushing you does not necessitate you to use deadly force against them. In no world is that legal, especially not in the state of Texas.
When the father of the victim showed up to the press conference, the person, I think it was a pastor, who was saying it was inappropriate, that is a horrible thing that he's doing for his family's client.
Right.
Right? That shouldn't happen either. You know, if this is a human thing, you want humans to be, he has the right to be there. Maybe you don't want him there. Maybe you embrace him is the way to do it. But one day, you know, Mr. Anthony might need some forgiveness for Mr. Metcalf. That might happen. That's probably going to happen at some point if he gets convicted. And to sort of blow it up in the beginning is not the right way to handle this. Let the professionals handle this. And that person conducting the press conference is not a professional.
Right. Yeah, that may have made things worse.
Made things worse.
Yeah. And as you said, no, it needs to be in the profession, in the courtroom.
She's getting millions of views on this. Sarah. She's even came after me.
Damn, Skippy. Yes, I was getting millions of views on X about you, and now I'm getting thousands of views on Facebook for my reporting on the Anthony family and Dominique Alexander, and now you want to take it to TikTok. No problem. We can do this.
That the information that says that Carmelo Anthony's family put out a packet for a court-appointed attorney is false, y'all. Attorney Mike Howard is still on the case. I don't know where all of this information, no, let me correct. I do know where this information is coming from.
I'm the problem. It's me. Remember that press conference where you called me out specifically because I got under your skin? Do you want to know why I got underneath your skin? Because I was the first journalist to actually release all of your information and do a full investigation on your little crime network. You're a liar, a perfect pick for someone to represent or advocate for the Anthony family. You got mad because I exposed you, your organization, and your grift, and I did it with receipts and documentation. So your response was to call me a liar and hateful, and never once did you address anything that I actually put out, any of the information, because you can't, because there is absolutely no defense for you. So let's first address the fact that you say in that video that filing for indigence is an automatic process. No, it's not. To request court-appointed counsel, the defendant first needs to prove that they are indeed indigent, which means unable to afford legal representation. This involves completing and submitting a form detailing income, expenses, and property. They waited for Karmelo to turn 18 before they did this, because now as an adult, technically, he has nothing. His family has it all, and the give, send, go is in his mother's name. He, technically, as an adult, has no income, expenses, or property. These forms are obtained from the local county's website, or the Texas Commission's Indigent Defense Texas website, or directly from the court. The defense must request it, submit the paperwork, and then wait on the approval process. For now, Mike Howard is still his defense attorney as listed on the court documents. I have shown those court documents, and I have always told people that he is their defense attorney, keywords, for now. This will not stop him from moving to an assigned attorney later on. Furthermore, and this is from Collin County Court, by the way, because Karmelo was approved for indigent defense as reported by his advocacy group, it's actually likely that he will not receive a salaried public defender, but instead a private attorney who volunteered or will be appointed, will be paid by the county using taxpayer funds. This person could be Mike Howard. I don't know yet. But in places like Collin County, Texas, this type of defense is very common. Private attorneys can request retainer either as a flat fee or hourly, as shown in that picture I showed you. Now, you also stated this in your video.
Because somebody want to say something just insinuating about me, or just some stupid and false different things, right?
Honey, I didn't insinuate anything. Can we talk about this? You're a convicted felon of family violence, harming a 2-year-old and then lying about it, felony theft, stealing a car, forgery, evading arrest, filing a false report. There's more. And don't even get me started on the peaceful protest that you held that ended with the unaliving of 5 Dallas police officers. I also released my exclusive about your fraudulent organization. You're committing financial fraud with Next Generation Action Network, breaking federal laws, endorsing candidates under the guise of having a 501c4, which you do not. All of these things are illegal, and I provided documentation for all of it. You're also breaking the law according to your own website, where you claim to have your own internal security team and that you are providing security for Karmelo Anthony and his family. With training, you said they had training. This is also illegal in the state of Texas because none of them are licensed. I proved that too through an open records request to the Texas Department of Public Safety. In Texas, you have to be licensed to provide personal security. The Texas DPS requires all security guards, both armed and unarmed, to be licensed. My exclusives on you, on your illegal behavior and your lies, has reached a national level. Millions of views, just like you admitted yourself. It has gone to mainstream media. It has reached podcasts all across the world, believe it or not. And yeah, it did make you mad, because I came with receipts and you couldn't debunk any of it. Do not mess with me. You are messing with the wrong journalist. I understand how this works. I do my research, and I'm not going to stop until you are behind bars, sir. You're right. The Give, Send, Go fundraiser has barely moved since you upped the goal to $1.4 million. But not because of me. I just showed people the light. They decided to use common sense and stop funding a grifting criminal who likes to take advantage of people. Till next time, Dominique.
We were asking him repeatedly to leave. And literally, he wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't even say anything. He felt like he could just stand there. That's not right.
So this is that one guy that held that press conference for the Anthony family. And what he was talking about was when Austin Metcalf's father attended and they asked him to leave. And he wouldn't leave. And it's not right that he didn't leave when he was asked. Isn't that why we're here in the first place? If I'm not mistaken. Am I going crazy?